Did we have an all-pro team up there too?
Yep.
Where's that link? Got it. Anything stand out to you here? All-pro?
It's just.
Do you want to go through it?
Okay.
I'll just read it out.
Mike Renner.
Offense. Quarterback, Lamar Jackson, because we just gave him MVP. Lamar and Josh Allen. Derrick Henry at running back with Raheem Mostert. Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb. Tyreek Hill and A.J. Brown at receiver with CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson coming in at second team. Travis Kelce at tight end. Brandon Ayuk at flex. Christian Darrisaw at left tackle, left guard. Tyler Smith, center Jason Kelce. Right guard Kevin Dotson from the Rams. Great pickup by the Rams there. And then right tackle Penei Sewell. Discuss.
I think there's a lot of
common names there.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of surprises there, I think. I mean, Tyler Smith having the season he's having is something worth pointing out. He is playing absolutely spectacularly this year.
Not a surprise if you have the draft model.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Just saying.
Kevin Dotson at right guard is going to be a shocking one for a lot of people.
Dotson's an interesting one because he generally graded well for us as a pass blocker, not so much in the run game. Steelers always felt like they were trying to replace him in the lineup. Mm-hmm. And then the Rams picked him up. And again, say what you want. I mean, maybe the whole NFL disagrees with our grades, but he's performing extremely well per PFF grades with the Rams this year.
Derrick Henry is going to be a pretty surprising one, I think. Derrick Henry over Christian McCaffrey. Zach Moss is second in rushing yardage in the NFL. Who else is having a pretty crazy season? Mostert, obviously. Henry being the guy at running back, I think, will raise eyebrows. But the good news is this is Gordon's team, so he gets the blame.
Yeah, go blame Gordon. Defensive side, we have Dexter Lawrence, who we just talked about, as well as Quinnen Williams at defensive interior, ahead of both Jalen Carter and Aaron Donald. Edge, we have Myles Garrett and Nick Bosa as first team, TJ Watt and Max Crosby as second team. Linebacker, we have Demario Douglas, Roquan Smith, with Quincy Williams of the Jets, who's having a great season. And C.J. Mosley of the Jets, both as second team. So a lot of Jets here everywhere. Cornerback Jalen Johnson of the Bears, who's looking for a new contract. Paulson Adebo from the New Orleans Saints, making a ton of plays this year. Darius Williams of the Jags and Sauce Gardner of the Jets as second team. And then safety Jesse Bates the third. And Javon Holland of the Dolphins as the first team safeties with Geno Stone of the Ravens and Antoine Winfield of the Bucs as second team. And then first team flex, Trent McDuffie with another Jet second-teamer, DJ Reed.
Yeah, love Trent.
Then we'll talk special teams.
It's a whole segment of the show for that. Love Trent McDuffie getting in there as the flex or slot, if you want to put him there. Jesse Bates, Javon Holland, I think, are the two correct options at safety. Corner is interesting. That's almost the same chaos of MVP. There's not necessarily an absolute lighting it up superstar, but there's a lot of guys playing well.
Such a volatile position that tends to change. Adebo's had some massive games for the Saints this year. As we're preparing, Jags are going to play the 49ers this week. You've got Darius Williams, who mentioned was second team, grading extremely well at 85.5. The Jags' entire secondary playing pretty well as a group. So Darius Williams deserves that shout out there. And then we mentioned Jalen Johnson of the Bears. He's having his best season by far and due a new contract. He was on the trading block potentially. But yeah, he's playing really well. I think we're in this world where there's not a clear-cut number one corner in the NFL year over year.
Yeah,
so
year
those
over
will
year.
tend to fluctuate. We've talked about that the last couple of years. There was a stretch where it was Jair Alexander. I think the totality of the last few years, you would say it's Jalen Ramsey. Doesn't mean it shows up every single year. Plus, he's only played 2 games. I think a guy like I think Sauce Gardner's going to be in that conversation now. Is he the consistent top cornerback going forward, the guy that you would put at number one? I don't think everybody would agree with that, but I think he's got a case to be that guy going forward. But it's not like I think when Sherman was in the league, when Darrelle Revis was in the league, when Stephon Gilmore was going through his run, you could point to this one guy as the best. I don't think we're in that world right now at corner.
No, and I'm not even sure it's possible anymore, just given the nature of the position and the way football is right now. Some have questioned what Quinnen Williams is doing there, given that he doesn't have any sacks by our numbers and 0.5 by the official NFL numbers.
Who's
I don't believe we should name names. But I would point out that number one, Quinnen Williams is by far the best run defending grade from an interior defender in the NFL, 90.1. And number two, though he doesn't have the sacks, he has 31 total pressures, which is one more than Justin Madubuike, who has 8 sacks on the season. It's one fewer than Chris Jones, who has 7 sacks on the season by our numbers. I don't know what their official NFL numbers are. Remember, we don't award half sacks as half on the basis that it's dumb. So the fact that he doesn't have any sacks or 0.5 official sacks does not mean he's not playing well.
Did you see the interview with his grandmother?
No.
The other night to kick off Monday Night Football.
I did not.
She was trying to tell him you need to tackle the quarterback. She was saying you got to get through that line.
Although you got to be careful you don't get roughing the passer, apparently, if you do that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's what Quinnen's doing. He knows where the NFL's going. You don't want to tackle. You don't want to hit the quarterback. You don't want to tackle the quarterback even in regulation, because for fear that you could rough him. So Quinnen's smart. Just get the pressure. Let the other guys get the glory. Don't get any penalties.
Right.
No roughing penalties.
Sensible.
So, as always, there's way more than just sack totals, guys. You know that. We're not going to sort a guy by 6 out of his 393. Like if he had 6 sacks instead of 0 on 393 snaps, it's still 6 out of 393 snaps. And those sack totals are dependent on other stuff. Special teamers.
Okay. What's your take on the punter?
A.J. Cole's having a great year for the Raiders.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Punting well. Chase McLaughlin for the Bucs, a Bucs kicker. How about that? How about that? Kevontae Turpin with the Cowboys had a bunch of returns. He's our return specialist. Miles Killebrew. Gordon used to be our special teams guru here at PFF, so we always make sure to highlight the real special teamers. Not just this name stuff. Not just, it's Matthew Slater, 1,900-time Pro Bowler, because it's Matthew Slater. This is grinding the film, including long snapper Chris Stoll. From which team, Sam?
The Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, good job reading. Josh Harris got second team long snapper. That's the depth and detail that we go to at PFF, though.